Welcome to Weekday Somatics. Happy Monday. So let's get started. I was thinking about doing something cute, and Monday could be Magnificent Monday. It could be Movement Monday or Massage Monday. It could be any of those. Could also be Moody Monday. Let's not do that. Let's find a posture that we can inhabit for the next little while, 50 minutes or so, with confidence. If it's comfortable, close your eyes and just tune into the direct experience. This is really, really important. It's so easy to overlook, but it's really at the heart of any true inquiry. So whether it's a somatic inquiry or any kind of inquiry, the heart of inquiry is to be present to the direct experience. So what does that mean? It means to experience what's happening here and now as it is, not filtering it through the mechanical mind. So the mechanical mind is all about the past, and it's all about comparison, and it's all about projection. So for the mechanical mind, the present doesn't exist. The mechanical mind only knows past and future. So past is our context and future is where we project. That's what mechanical mind does. So there's a complete ignorance in mechanical mind of the present, and that means of direct experience. So when we attune to direct experience, we're simply present to what is, and we don't have any time or space to compare. Now, comparison may be occurring presently, but notice that if you simply attune yourself to the direct experience, even the direct experience of comparison, then there's no time or space to analyze or judge the input or the output, because it's happening only here and now. So there's only the observance of the actual experience of the comparison, which frankly is so uninteresting and unenjoyable. There's no reason to continue to give much attention to it other than just to let it rest. So then we can become more aware of what's more interesting, more pleasurable, more enjoyable, such as just the direct experience of sensation, the direct experience of presence, the direct experience of the support that we can perceive underneath our bodies, around our bodies, inside our bodies, beyond our bodies. So all of these things, I use words, I have to use words to describe, to point to, but understand that the direct experience is too direct for words. It's too intimate for words. The words are really just giving mechanical mind something to play with, while meanwhile we're attentive to what is before the words. Direct experience is the heart of inquiry. It's the heart of any inquiry. And you don't need anything more complicated than this. You don't need anything more sophisticated, more advanced or anything in order to discover complete freedom, ease, peace, joy. But then when it comes to bringing this clarity, this joy, this peace, this ease into our waking state, we need a bridge. We need a bridge between our habitual and what we discover that's eternal. So there's the eternal that's within. There's actually the eternal that's without. It's the same eternal. But we forget about that because of this vast ocean of, oh, well, how funny is that? I didn't even realize this, but I talk about this as the conditioning, the mechanical mind. Well, that's essentially the same word that's used in Sanskrit, samsara, repetitive history. It's just repetitive. So this vast ocean of repetitive history, of mechanical mind, of habit, we need a bridge to bridge the eternal to the eternal. So we use skillful means, hopefully. So we've chosen a posture. We're attentive to the direct experience, and then let's pray. How about that for a loaded word? From this silence, we watch and listen, and we are aware as movement stirs, and we are witness as that one presence to the one power that we are one with, arising and moving and shaping all of experience. And we know as we peer into our hearts that our true desire, our true intention is an intention of love, goodness, peace, harmony, and abundance. And anything that appears unlike that we choose to remain restfully aware to discover the truth of whatever arises so that we can see clearly that truth, that whatever arises is not separate, that we have never been in bondage, that we are always, as we always have been, free. free to choose now to align ourselves with those universal laws as above, so below, so that we can claim our divine birthright here and now and begin to act from this awareness of our divine truth, our divine reality, our divine identity, and choose powerfully so that we can indeed bridge this vast ocean of samsara and not only know our eternal nature within, but also know that one divine truth in all things, in all of creation, so that there can be not only in potential, but in actuality, in this world, heaven on earth, beginning with us, beginning with our bodies, our minds, our hearts, our relationships, our finances, our careers, our homes, our friends, our families, our loved ones. And we bless ourselves and we bless all beings everywhere, knowing that through our intention, all are uplifted and this world is uplifted and we are joyful in this moment, giving thanks for this revelation and recognition. And so it is. Let's take a few moments with the eyes closed to tune into the natural breath. So when we tune into the natural breath, we're just allowing the breath to move on its own so that we are the recipients of that grace. It's what it is to be inspired. And so many of these stories we're told that humans came about by the divine breathing into us. That's what it is to be inspired, is to be breathed into. So we can allow ourselves to be breathed into and then allow that breath to cleanse and heal and enliven those parts of us that are most in alignment with our divine truth, with that pure heartfelt intention and desire. And then effortlessly, without any strain or force whatsoever, just allow for the breath to release so that it effortlessly completes its cycle. Just observe where there are any habits of holding the breath or forcing the breath, overinflating or pushing the air out. Notice if there are any habits of turning the breath at unnatural or unnecessary or premature points, and just be aware, be restful. Be aware of any spasms or lack of smoothness or lack of confidence in the breath, and just know that smoothness, ease, grace, and confidence are all qualities of the natural breath, that they are gifted to you. You don't have to work hard for them or earn them or seek for them, but rather just surrender to them and be present. Allow your body to be supple, supported, buoyant. Release any unnecessary effort in the upper back, between the shoulders, in the forehead, in the neck, the throat, the tongue. the chest, the abdomen, the lower back, the pelvis. Just let it all be soft yet buoyant as you allow the breath to naturally and effortlessly flow. Where the breath is disturbed, the mind and body will be disturbed. The emotions will be disturbed. Or if there, we can say, if there are disturbed emotions, disturbed mind, disturbed body, then there's disturbed breath. And so if you experience any disturbance, then just know that the remedy is a simple and sure one, which is be aware of the breath and surrender to the natural breath, knowing that truly the natural breath is divinely gifted. Really, I mean that. There's a beautiful story from Greek mythology about uh, a man named Belaforon, Belaforon, I think is his name. And there is a winged horse named Pegasus. And there is a terrible monster, a demon, who's terrifying the people. And Belaforon needs to work with Pegasus to defeat this monster. Now, Pegasus doesn't want to be ridden, but Pegasus needs Belaforon, and Belaforon needs Pegasus. In order to defeat this monster. So you can just see how this is speaking to something within you. How do we cross that vast ocean? We could build a bridge, or we could fly. And so Belaforon and Pegasus need one another. And there is a bridle that allows them to come together. A bridle that allows them to unite, to collaborate, to work together so that Belaforon can ride on Pegasus. And this bridle has a name, and its name is trust. So the breath is like Pegasus. And we need trust in order to be able to ride it. Because if we don't, then we'll be thrown. So as you're breathing or being breathed, be aware of how it is that you lack trust. And imagine that you are riding Pegasus to defeat this monster that's a chimera. It can fly. So we need to be able to fly to defeat this monster that terrorizes us. And in order to fly, we have to ride the breath, and we have to be aware of every habit, every impulse to betray yourself, to abort the mission, to be thrown and fall. And start to become aware of why. What is the reason? Ask yourself that. Why would I betray myself here? Why now? Why turn the breath now when it's not yet time? Why hold the breath? Why restrict the breath? Why squeeze? Why force the breath? Why now? Really be observant and you'll see exactly why. And you'll see it's not a good reason. You'll see that most of it is simply because you're in the habit of it, and the rest of it is because you're afraid. And on top of that, if you don't get right down to the heart of it, then you can say it's because you're angry or because you're frustrated. So just see that those reasons are not good reasons for self-betrayal. So really imagine that you're riding high, soaring on this winged horse that is the breath, so that you can complete your mission, your purpose, so that you can truly be the hero in the real sense. Be victorious for the well-being of this entire world. And then you grow suddenly angry or suddenly frustrated or suddenly scared. Don't betray yourself, just be aware. Be aware of what you're doing and recognize that you have a choice. You can continue to surrender, continue to allow this breath to move and just ride it. Just be present to it. Let it turn when it turns. Let it glide as it glides. Let it do as it does. And you just be aware and receive. And if you happen to be sitting, be extra aware Because many people say when they're sitting, then they don't perceive that they can breathe as easily or fully. Seems more strained. Well, yes, because there's more that's going on, more stimulation, but be aware. Don't accept that, oh, it's just too hard. Be aware. Be aware that you can soften. Be aware that you are supported. Be aware that this breath can be natural, effortless, pleasurable, fulfilling, healing. Be aware of that. Know that that is true. And then instead of saying, oh, it's too hard, say, I know it's possible for me to ride this breath, even though I feel challenged, even though I have fearful thoughts, even though I may be momentarily startled. I am aware, I am present, I am awake, I am surrendered, and I am here to fulfill my purpose. I'm committed. I know that something more fulfilling is possible. I open to that. Please guide me, breath. Let the abdomen soften. Let's take a few more breaths, and as we do, bring your fingers of both hands if it's comfortable. If not, just one hand, and if even that's not comfortable, then you can skip it. But if you're able to do it, then it's really, really nice. Bring your fingers to the base of the sternum. So if you can put both of them there, so put both of the fingers of both hands right on the sternum, and then slide them down just to the base of the sternum where it becomes soft, so that you have the right fingers on the right side and the left fingers on the left side, and just gently, very gently, because we don't want to injure ourselves here. It's a sort of sensitive area, but gently, without any discomfort, very gently pull apart to the left and right here. So very gently, but as you do, breathe. Let yourself be breathed for a few more breaths, and let this touch of the fingers and the gentle pulling help to soften and expand. So as you're inhaling, let what's under your fingers, this is the xiphoid process, let it be soft. Let it be very, very soft. See how soft it can remain, and see how soft it can become. So many of us hold so much in this area, and it's completely unnecessary. So we feel so frustrated, angry, disappointed, and it's actually just something that we're holding here. So you can really surrender and release that. You'll feel much better. Okay, and then release the hands. And as you do so, see that it's possible to continue to maintain that same softening and broadening at the xiphoid process. See how your breath can continue to remain softer. Just take a few more breaths here just to allow this to integrate. And then we're going to, in a moment, we're going to explore some movement. And if you would like to have your eyes open for this portion, that's fine, but make sure that as you open your eyes, and there's no need to, you can keep your eyes closed, it'll be fine. But if you wish to open them, then be aware as you open them. Be gentle so that you don't disturb anything. We want to allow for this inner discovery to integrate into our waking states. So we want to allow the eyes to open very slowly so that it's not jarring. So for this portion, let's see. Okay, if you're able to sit, if you're not already sitting, if you're able to sit for this portion, that would be lovely because it will make it easier for me to give instruction. And if you're not able to sit for this, then it will be okay. You don't need to sit, but you may need to, the movements may need to be extra subtle so that you're really just imagining the movement more than doing the movement, because these movements are going to involve, at least some of them are going to involve some they're going to involve some bending and some extension and flexion of the spine, which will be more challenging to do lying down. So you just would, in those cases, make the movement much more subtle and more in your imagination than physical. But if you're sitting, then you'll be free to do the movement in a greater extent. Either way will be fine. Either way will work. Remember that in somatic exploration, it's not so much about the physical movement. The physical movement is to support the somatic awareness. So we can actually be very successful without making any gross level movements. But for those of us who are a bit gross, we like the gross level movements because it helps us. So let's start out by, we'll put the left hand on the right shoulder, and then bring the right hand over to the left side of the rib cage. It's not, I know it's not in frame, but you can see I've got my right hand and putting it on the left side of the rib cage. So it's under the left arm. And take a moment to let the shoulders relax. So feel with your right hand, feel the ribs. Just gently sort of palpate them so that you get a sense of what's there and what's on top of the ribs. There's something on top of the ribs, right? You feel something there. There's skin at the very least, probably some other stuff, but see what you feel there. Just notice what you feel, and notice, what does it feel like? Does it feel good? Does it feel pleasurable? Does it feel tight? Does it feel numb? Does it feel, who knows? There's so many possibilities, right? So just be aware. And then what we're going to do we're going to really let everything be as relaxed as possible so that we're not introducing unnecessary strain. So let the shoulders be relaxed, let the jaw be relaxed. And then when next you're ready, maintaining the same level of relaxation and softness, slowly tip the head to the right a little bit and then allow the whole torso to bend slightly to the right so that you can feel what's happening in the rib cage on the left. So this is lengthening on the left side, right? No, left. Left. Lengthening on the left side, correct? Correct. Okay. So you want to feel that lengthening. Intend for that lengthening and that release so that the left side of the rib cage, and you don't need to bend very far. Don't ever, your breath should be relaxed. So if you're holding your breath, see that you can ease that up. And so you want to intend and actually perceive a lengthening and a release in the left side of the rib cage. And then maintain that as you slowly come back to upright. And let's do that a couple more times at your own pace. And remember, you could just do this mechanically and it wouldn't do you a whole lot of good. It's really about the awareness. So you want to really have the awareness. Don't make, and by the way, again, make it a small of a movement as is appropriate for you. So for example, if this is I'm demonstrating here, this could be plenty, very small movement. You don't have to do more than this. Or you could, and that might be appropriate and helpful for you. But you should be able to breathe without holding the breath, without forcing the breath. And it should not be painful. It should be playing with the edge where you notice, oh yeah, there's a little bit of something. Okay, that's good. That's the edge, a little bit of something. And then see that you can be aware, be present, soften, release. You should notice an actual change. Something actually changes. You perceive that change on multiple levels. You perceive the tissue state changing under your fingers. You notice that your breathing becomes easier. Your mind becomes more serene. Your state, your total inner state changes, even if just very subtly. And then you come back to upright, maintaining that change. That's the important thing, is that you're starting from as much rest and relaxation as possible so that you can be aware of the subtlety. Then you do the movement, you notice where something happens, there's an engagement of some kind of habit, some kind of restriction, something's highlighted in your awareness. Then you soften through intention, you release through intention, you lengthen through intention, surrender through intention. You notice the change, even if it's subtle. And then you slowly, while maintaining that, you come back to upright. And then release the hands. And just notice the difference between the two sides. Notice what's changed. Wow, pretty big difference for me. And then let's do the other side. So we'll bring the right hand to the left shoulder, bring the right hand to the, no, left hand to the right ribs, right side of the ribs. And let everything relax as much as possible so that you're not making unnecessary effort in the shoulders or in the jaw or in the throat or in the back or anywhere else. And just let this be as relaxed as possible. And then when you're ready, slowly bend the neck so the head goes to the left, and then let the right side of the ribs expand as the spine starts to bend to the left. Only as far as is appropriate for you. So again, your breathing should not be overly restricted. You only move to the point where you start to notice some kind of restriction, some kind of habit, some kind of pulling, some kind of discomfort, but it's just the very slightest bit. That way you know that you're aware and you have the greatest likelihood of being able to consciously release. So release and allow your breath to help to release. So the breath is so helpful for this, especially when we're talking about the torso, especially the rib cage, right? So then slowly come back to upright, and let's do that a few more times. You really should notice that the whole of the torso and the neck becomes suppler. Your experience should become smoother, more pleasurable. You should start to feel more stable, more secure, more grounded, more peaceful, better, in other words. Just do that one more time. And then release everything and just notice what's changed. Notice how the two sides feel. I feel much more balanced now. I was feeling like I was bending before, like a moon, half moon, crescent moon rather. But now I feel much more vertical, aligned. Notice how the breath moves. Does it feel more balanced between the two sides? And also notice if you're able to breathe without so much force now. Okay, and then let's do the second movement, which is we're going to bring our hands to the face. You know, I love doing this. And so a specific placement of the hands. You don't have to be too concerned about it being exactly right. I know sometimes people get so obsessed with it being exactly right. Don't worry about that. It's never like that. But just in general, what I'd like you to do, put the thumbs, or bringing both hands to the face. The thumbs are going to go under the jawbone. Kind of, you know, the jaw is has a bend, and you want to put the thumbs just under that, and then put the index fingers just in front of the ears, and then place the other fingers so that they're on the cheeks, and then on the where the lip and the corners of the nose kind of come together in that general area. Don't be too concerned about it being exact. And then let your elbows come together. So you can see I've got my elbows together there. Okay. And just let this be, just take a moment to rest here so that it's not strenuous. So release the shoulders, let go in the upper back, let go in the chest. Take a few breaths this way. And then what we're going to do for the movement, I'll describe it first, so don't do it yet, but I'll describe it and then we'll do it together. So the movement is going to be that we keep the elbows together and the hands placed where they are throughout the entirety of the movement, so that at no point do the elbows come apart and at no point do the hands come off of the face or move substantially from where they are on the face. And what we're going to do is we're going to look up and back, but starting with a very small movement, and then each time we can increase it within our range of confidence, so that we're at no point risking any kind of injury. So to begin with, it will be a very small movement, and I'll demonstrate it so that it's clear what I'm talking about, okay? So the movement will be, so we look up and then down. So the head, the eyes and the head go up and then eventually back. But to begin with, they're just really going up and then coming back to neutral. Keeping the elbows together, keeping the hands where they are. Now you'll notice, so you can go ahead and begin to explore that slowly with awareness. So do this. Remember, you're responsible for your well-being. So be gentle, take it easy, make sure that you're not restricting or holding the breath. If anything is uncomfortable, then you pause and get stable and confident before you do anything beyond that. And if you follow those guidelines, then this is very, very safe and very therapeutic. So as we'll do this for just a little bit. Okay, so you can take a break whenever you need to. Remember that that's important. Take care of yourself. Don't endure something or try to push through. Rest when you need to. And and then resume when you're ready. And as we're doing this, I'm going to say a few things about it, okay? So that you can have some awareness of this. So be aware that what the relationship of the head and the chest and the spine is, and the shoulders as you're doing this movement. So most of the time, when we move our head without having awareness of how it's related to the rest of our body. So if somebody says, look up, what do? We fling the head up and back at the occipital joint without awareness of the rest of the body. And then we're cutting ourselves off, and then we wonder, why am I not experiencing flow? So here what we're doing is we're reintegrating our awareness of the head with the rest of the body, so that now we become aware, oh yes, the head moves as part of the spine. The head, in a sense, is the uppermost part of the spine. So when the head moves, the spine should also move for maximum stability and flow, as well as strength and confidence and so forth. So by keeping the elbows together, we're really helping to bring about that awareness, facilitating that awareness. Also, it helps us to be aware of any rigidity or tension that we hold in the chest or the upper back that prevents the easy, full, and free movement of the upper spine. Let's do that a few more times. Oh, and be aware of the abdomen, of course. So if your abdomen is tight, then you'll have a hard time doing this. Remember what we did, what we just explored, and the sensations you had when we were touching and gently pulling around the xiphoid process, and how that helped to soften and release in that area, so that the abdomen is actually comes up higher than you think, and you can soften that as you do this bend, and that will help you to do the bend with more confidence. And then we can slowly release the hands and arms without disturbing anything, and just be aware. And if your eyes are open, then just let them close if that's comfortable for you. And we'll just, again, tune into the breath. And we're wrapping up the movement portion. Really allow that to integrate. Notice any habits surfacing, habits of trying to get back to a familiar posture, a familiar sensation. And this is such a powerful thing. When you really start to become aware of this, you'll see how this is playing out at all levels of your experience. Some of you have commented on this recently. You've started to see it. You can see how at a physical level, we experience pain, restriction, discomfort, and then we discover something beyond that. But if we don't allow that to integrate, then what happens is our knee-jerk reactions take over. And the knee-jerk reaction is, this is bad. Get back to the familiar. And so you can see how that happens at a physical level, which is why we have to allow for this kind of integration if we want the changes to be lasting. We can also see how this is playing out at other levels. So you can see how in your life, you might have habits of painful or restrictive emotional responses, painful or restrictive thinking or imaginative processes. And you can see how anytime you are outside of those habits, you become uncomfortable. And your knee-jerk reaction is to get back to the familiar. And so what do? You act, if unconscious, you just act in ways that bring your experience back into alignment with the habits. So if you're in the habit of being rejected by others, or being condemned by others, or being judged by others, or having financial difficulties, not allowing for a flow of abundance in your life, or whatever the case may be, health issues, you have health challenges, and then you start to notice some kind of change, and your mind judges, oh, this is bad, it's getting worse. And so then what do? You just have to see what you do. And it always involves tensing up, restricting the breath, focusing the mind in a particular way, re-engaging familiar thoughts and beliefs, searching for the supportive negative memories, and you can see how you just bring yourself back into that same fixed habitual state. So we have to allow for newness to integrate, and we have to allow for the possibility that newness is not always bad. So when we have this knee-jerk reaction of this is bad, use that as a wake-up call, a reminder, so that you can be still, be present, be aware, and just allow for yourself to be aware of this newness as it actually is, rather than filtering it through the mechanical mind, past the judgments and so forth. Just experience it as it is and ask yourself this question: is it actually going to harm me to just allow this for 90 seconds? Can I really know that that's true? Is it possible that I could benefit by allowing this for 90 seconds? Is that at least a possibility? And then just be curious enough to allow it and be very present, so that if there's any actual danger, you can protect yourself, but you have to allow for the newness. And then you'll start to discover that this newness is actually a good thing. And yes, it's taking things away. Yes, absolutely. It is absolutely taking things away. It's stealing from you and it's robbing you. And here's what it's stealing from you. It's stealing your hardness, your arrogance, your frustration, your disappointment, your cruelty, your violence, your reactivity, your impatience, your judgments. It's stealing these things from you. Because it is a divine agent. It's an angel coming to bless you by stealing all that you don't know how to give up on your own. So let's now bring this inquiry to a close. Take a moment to recognize your connection to this earth. Surrender to this earth. Be grounded in the most beautiful way, so that you can receive that support and stability, so that you can manifest powerfully on this earth, so that you can surrender all of your hardness and arrogance and fear and reactivity, and have that all transmuted, so that you can be more and more powerful as you are in alignment with that truth that's in your heart, coming to know that it is essentially good, that you are essentially good, and that it is okay to surrender and okay to trust, because who you are is in fact good at your heart. So allow for that truth in your heart, that pure, innocent truth, to shine forth as a blessing, and let it bless your body, all of your body. Let it bless your mind, your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, your sensations. Have this intention. Let it bless all of you. Let it bless your entire life. Let it bless your finances, your career, your loved ones, your family, your parents, your children, your neighbors, your pets. Let it bless your food. Let it bless the water, the air, all of the wild animals and plants. Let it bless this entire earth and all of its inhabitants. Let it bless this entire cosmos. Intend blessings for all of creation, for all beings everywhere, for all that is. And let's take 3 more breaths, natural, unforced, totally relaxed. And with each exhalation, consciously intend those blessings for all of creation, starting with yourself and radiating to all beings everywhere and all that is. And become aware of your physical body. Become aware of your head, your shoulders, your neck and throat, your arms, hands, fingers. Become aware of the chest and the upper back, the abdomen and the lower back. Become aware of the pelvis, the buttocks, the thighs, the knees, the lower legs, the feet, the toes, and the soles of the feet. Become aware of this entire group. Become aware of all of the support, seen and unseen, known and unknown, and give thanks. And then just have one more intention for today, for this time together. And that intention is to trust that this time here is powerful and that your intention is powerful. Conscious intention is more powerful than unconscious intention. And allow for this truth and this goodness to be a blessing for your entire day. Whatever happens, just know that you have set a powerful intention, that healing is taking place and blessings are taking place. Goodness is happening in your life so that you can just ride on those wings of Pegasus, of the breath, of truth. And when you're ready, you can slowly begin to explore opening the eyes. And remember to do so in a way that allows for an integration of the inner and the outer so that it's not too sudden or too jarring. And you can take your time. I'm going to be ending the recording of the formal inquiry momentarily. And I'll just say a few words as I usually do, just in closing of that. So for anybody who's watching the recording, this is, as has been the case recently, it's very gentle, should not be very stimulating, but that's always a possibility because everybody's got different things they bring. So in any case, just remember, take care of yourself. That's so important. Be gentle. Don't let yourself get unnecessarily stressed. Just really know how powerful your intention is. That you know, they're at present. Okay, there's on average maybe 100 people who watch these or participate in these. So at most, when I look at the numbers, it's not a lot. So really consider that for a moment. You're here. What does that say about you? I'll tell you what it says about you. Rather than leave it to your imagination, I'll tell you it means something really powerful. It means that you are in the right place at the right time, having the right experience, and you can trust in that. So this isn't for everybody. This is for you. And what that means is it's good for you, it's right for you, it's truthful for you, and you can trust it 100%. So whatever happens in your day, first of all, expect good. Really, that will make a big difference. Expect good. It's been a while since I've talked about this, but have positive expectation. Because the truth is, you don't know what anything means. I don't know what anything means. I do not know the significance of anything in the absolute sense. So we can just notice our unhelpful habit of having negative expectation and see how that colors our experience. It makes our experience unpleasant. Since we don't know that that's true, what we can do is we don't have to go overboard. It's very, very gentle. It's just a gentle nudging back in the correct direction by just having this gentle, positive expectation, just meaning today is a mystery, as all days are. Because I don't know what will happen, and I don't know the meaning of it, even when it happens, because I am a spark of the divine. I am one with the divine, but the divine is the totality. The great mystery alone knows the meaning. I do not. So I surrender to the wisdom and grace of that greater truth, that greater perfection. And I have positive expectation, knowing that I'm cared for, knowing that my life is being directed and guided and uplifted for my good and for the good of all. And so whatever happens, I have positive expectation. Thank you. So that's really, really powerful. Just have positive expectation and then continue to be true to that so that whatever happens, because things will happen that will be unsettling. You want change, don't you? But it's why you have to see these habits, see the habit. You see that as soon as there's change, the habit is to interpret it as bad. Up until the change happens, what do? We say, please, God, I need change. Please, God, I'll do anything. I need change. I can't bear it anymore. And then the change comes and we say, oh my God, not that. So have positive expectation. Know that your prayers are being answered. Know that you are powerful. Your intention is powerful. It took an hour to get clear on your intention, to set that intention and to bring that intention forth into expression in your life. And then notice how quickly your mind says, I didn't do enough. It didn't work. No way. Absolutely worked. Very, very powerful. Now you have confidence. I did the work. I have positive expectation. My life is being blessed. The lives of all beings are being blessed. This world is being blessed. All that happens is an expression of that blessing. I accept the perfection and intelligence of the divine as it operates in my life, fulfilling my prayer, knowing that the truth in my heart is flawless. I cannot make a mistake when I surrender to that. So let me just, again, affirm that I'm surrendered to that and just go with it. And you'll be amazed. You'll see that so many dramas that you don't need to get involved in because they all work out for the greatest good of all. So then the second thing is when things happen, be aware. Be aware of how quick you are to react and just say to yourself, does it really like that? Is this really an emergency like that? Does this really require that I react so violently and so quickly? Or could I allow it at least 90 seconds of just being neutrally aware and present and still receptive? Is it possible I could give 90 seconds for that? And if the answer will be yes. So if the answer is yes, then just do that and then reevaluate. After 90 seconds of actually being still and present, really truthfully being still and present, you won't have a problem. But if you still think you do, then ask yourself the same thing again at that point. Like, do I really need to react in that old way? Do I really need to do that? And then forgive yourself because you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna not be able to make good on that. Even this morning I didn't make good on it. But recognize that even when you're not making good on it, you're still making good on it. And as long as you are willing to soften and surrender and release the old and receive the new, it's going to be uncomfortable. Of course it is. Because you're so in the habit of just, it's got to be like this. And allow yourself to breathe. Remember how important that is. Really, just let yourself breathe. The natural breath is so powerful. Just let yourself do that. You'll be carried through your day. Bless your body, bless your food, bless your water, bless your life. Forgive yourself for your mistakes. Forgive those around you who make mistakes. Forgive yourself for holding on to past resentments. Forgive yourself for holding on to anything from the past and just surrender it now. Bless everybody. Send them to their greatest good. Especially bless the dead, those who have departed from this world. Please forgive them. Bless them, forgive them. They're in a very powerful place to bless you and support you now. Even your enemies, when they're dead, when they're departed from this world, they're in such a powerful place. Bless them so they can be your allies. They will be your allies the moment you bless them and release them. Because they're being bound now if you hold them in unforgiveness or resentment. If you hold anything, even if you say, oh, I can't, I'm so sad, I miss them so much, I love them so much, I need them here. No, you have to forgive them for dying, forgive them, forgive yourself, release, bless them, send them on their way, and they will bless you back 1,000,000 times. I promise you. Even your enemies, even your loved ones, once they've departed, you've got to let them go. Then you will receive a blessing. So these are the things you can do. If that's not enough, reach out, let me know. You can send me an email. or those of you who have the messenger group, you can use the messenger group. Okay, enough talking for now until the Q&A in a moment. So blessings to you all. I'm going to end the recording in a moment.